that mostly worked out okay. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here, and I'm happy you're here too. So today, I thought we would carve a stamp. Y'all know my friend Margot, over at the Shelley Studio. Well, she made a golden ratio, not a stamp, but an image using foam and stuff like that, or cardstock. Now I'm gonna brain fart and not remember correctly. Anyway, I've linked to her channel below. She did a golden ratio page in her book, A Collection of Curiosities, back in December of 23. And I thought, well, my friend Margot could do it. I could do it too. Only I'm not doing it the way she did. But I was inspired enough by her to carve one. So what I did is I pulled up an image on whatever free photo or image site it is. I've got that pulled up there on the laptop, as you can see. I have my laptop laid down on the screen, and we are tracing at, you know, we're talking me, the ruler girl. Ain't no ruler boss of me. Tracing at the image, okay? First I tried to use copy-weight paper, but you couldn't see it. Well, I couldn't see through it. So I grabbed a piece of deli paper. You know, it's pretty translucent stuff. It's you know, it's practically tracing paper, which I have. It's just in a drawer back there behind me, and I would have had to put forth effort to hunt it up and get it, and wasn't going to do that, was I? And when I got out, there's a list of ingredients in the description, you know, ... more, ... for the stuff I'm using. I'm using Speedball Speedy Carve. It's the pink stuff. It's the stuff I like to use. Okay, I know there's other stuff, and I've used other stuff from time to time. But I was picking this up back in the day, pre-plague, when they would put that stuff on sale 50% off, and then sometimes you get a coupon. That's when I was picking up them big pieces, you know. So I had some, right? And the piece I decided to use, I thought, well, I'm going to make one kind of postcard size. Not necessarily any specific intention behind that, but it may come into play later. And I don't mean later as in today. I mean later in the next later years or months or weeks or months or whatever. Anyway, so I got out the stuff I had in my little carving box, because I have a little an old-fashioned lunch kit, you know, the little metal lunch kits that people had in the 1900s. One of those. And I keep my carving stuff in that. And the piece of pink stuff I had in there made a postcard-ish size, and then there was a little piece left over, and I thought, well, let's just use that too, and we'll make a big one and a little one. So now I am turning this into a transfer paper by going over the back of the image with a graphite pencil. Okay, yes, I do have some, you know, carbon paper somewhere, but again, I would have to put forth some effort to locate it, and you know, pencil works. So we scrubbed over the back, not overly much, just a little much, you know, because we're working on the pink stuff. And mostly when you're using the pink stuff, you can lay your image on there that you have your graphite on. If you even draw it in graphite and you flip it around upside down and lay it on there, you can pretty much just rub it and the pencil just comes right off on the pink stuff, okay? Which is good. That's what you want, so you can, you know, get your image on there. Now, first question. Is there a right and a wrong way for this to spiral? I don't know, y'all. We traced it, and this is the way we're drawing it on our thing, which means when we stamp it out, it will be the reverse. Okay, it will spiral on the other side, kind of thing. Okay, does it matter? I don't know. Not to me. So I know you can kind of see it, but not see it. And we're going to use a black Sharpie. I know it's like drawing it and drawing it and drawing it again. And we could have freehanded it. I mean, there was no reason why we couldn't have, right? But, you know, sometimes I don't trust my abilities, even when I'm using a ruler. They're not necessarily trustworthy, y'all. So we're just, and I'm referring back to this image, and at some points I look at the computer screen, I'm like, is that right? Because that doesn't feel right. I don't know, it's the way I did it, right or wrong, that's the way it is. And like I said, we're going to make a little one. And I decided, well, you know, I always see this and it's always got the rectangle around the outside. I don't know, maybe that's just the way they do them images sometimes. So I just went ahead and, you know, putting the line around the outside. Now, when you carve stamps, you need to decide pretty much before you start, are you going to carve away the line, or are you going to carve everything away except the line? Makes a difference, y'all. You either end up with a line or you end up with the opposite. And no lines. So when you stamp it, it's like a solid piece, but the lines are missing. Okay? Kind of thing. I pretty much always carve away everything except the line. That's just kind of my preferred thing. Are my lines straight? Nope. Sometimes, sort of. Are my curves perfectly curved? I'm sure they are not. But that's okay. That's, you know, a lot of times with me, especially y'all, it's the process. The actual process, the doing of it. All right? And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And there is an opposite side to this here pink stuff I could carve on if I wanted to. I wouldn't say I've never done it, but I do seldom carve on both sides. But you can. It's thick enough. You're going to ask me how thick it is? I don't know how thick it is. Okay? I don't know. So we're redrawing it again because, you know, we took it to, no, you don't know because I didn't tell you. I took it to my scanner copier, and I copied it and made it just a little bit larger, which is how it ended up being mostly postcard size, which is mostly what the size of the pink stuff I had, okay? And then this is the other little piece that was left over on there, and I thought, well, that's when I decided we'll make a small one. So then I also reduced the image, and it just fit on there just perfectly. It was like it was planned, y'all. It's serendipity, because y'all know I can't do no math like that. No. No math. Not gonna do it. So anyway, we will start carving any day. Yes, it's a longish video, and I have sped up, I think, pretty much just about the whole thing, pretty much, per later. That's how they talk in East Texas around here when they, especially if they want to ask you want some ice cream. That's that creamy frozen dessert most people eat in the summertime, but some people eat in the wintertime too, because it don't no matter. So anyway, I'm using a very small, I believe it's called a V-groove. It's V-groove, Groove, groovy, man. And I'm going up next to the line because remember, I'm saving my lines. I'm taking everything else away, okay? And so I'm using that next to the line, and then I will bring in a bigger tool. I think it's a U-gouge. I think it's called a gouge. Gouge it out, y'all. No eyeballs involved. Anyway, that enables you to remove more material, and materials pink stuff, right? Because we're keeping the line. All right, keeping the line. And sometimes when I'm carving, I have to tell myself that keeping the line. You know, it's like cutting a straight edge freehand with the scissors. You got to keep them thoughts straight. Yeah. Usually, well, I like to pretend it helps anyway. So we're doing that, and yeah, it's sped up. It might look like it's real time, but it's not real time, y'all. It's sped it up. Okay, it's not super hyperdrive, but it's pretty. There's the bigger one, and yeah, cause yeah, I filmed carving both of them, the larger one and thisser one. Okay. I decided to show you the littler one because I actually zoomed in the camera a little closer, so maybe you can get a better look. You are not supposed to carve towards your body or your fingers. So, you know, my bad. You do want to go slowly because if you should happen to slip and your tool cuts something you don't want cut, too bad, so sad, y'all. It's cut now. It's a done deal. Can't undid it. All right. So slow as she goes. And I have a wonky paintbrush there that I use to brush the pink stuff, aka now the crumbs, out of the tool because sometimes they bother me. I don't know why, but they do. They might be in the way. They might not be in the way. It just may be visually disturbing me because, you know, that's a real thing for me sometimes. So we're just going along, and I think I've even sped up maybe a wee bit more now because it's like, how much do they really want to see? I don't know. I hope you're inspired to try. Oh, you need to watch Margot, though, because, well, she inspired me. I'm just saying, she does that a lot. She does that to me often. And I think she did that to me last year, probably about this time, too. Remember the hand, the fingers, the hand and fingers we carved? Where I decided at the end that my fingers were a little too short, but that's okay. I'm like, you know, whatever. Some people got shorter fingers than others, so it's just the way it goes in nature, isn't it? I still haven't recarved it, but anyway. So they are the way they are. And these two, because there's two of them, are the way they are. I'm pretty happy with them. I mean, you know, they're not perfect. It's definitely not machine made, I can tell you that. But, you know, the process made me happy, and the thinking about it made me happy, and the thinking about my friend Margot makes me happy, and, you know, all that she inspires us. And I don't know if you watch her, but you should. Just saying. Just putting that out there. Oh, and her book of curiosities. Delicious, y'all. Just delicious. So once, I'm going to tell you in advance, once you get it all carved out, okay, and you're, you know, you're pretty sure that's the way you want it, and you think you're done, you're not done. You got to stamp it, because it's a stamp, y'all. It's a rubber stamp, but it's not made from rubber. It's some kind of, well, it is some kind of plasticky, rubbery stuff. I don't know what it is. It's not like an eraser. It's not an eraser, because it doesn't erase. It will smear. Anyway, you'll stamp it out, and then you'll have places you might want to clean up and straighten up a little bit up, okay? That's usually when I mess up. I did pretty good on the initial carving, but when I go back and start trying to clean up ours, yeah, that's kind of when I typically mess up. I didn't. Not today. Not on either one of them even. Just saying. And there was no bleeding. I didn't cut myself or nothing. Because the name of the game is slow. And you don't want to carve deep. You don't need to go real deep. Like I said, if you just slip and you scratch the surface, it's there. Okay? So you don't have to go real deep. My friend Karen, when she carves, she carves down like she's on a piece of wood or something. I don't know how she does that. She carves by herself. I've never got to see her do that. But she carves pretty deep, and I'm like, no. No, that's too much. No. I don't have that kind of hand strength. Anyway, and by the time I was done with these, yeah. So the bigger one took Including the drawing and the transferring and making the transfer paper and all that. It probably took about 45 minutes. I know that's like a long time. That's practically forever. And this little one took about, took almost as much time though, didn't it? Was it like 30 minutes maybe? I know, almost as long. But you know, hey, it's just time I enjoyed being in the zone, because I be in the zone when I be doing this kind of stuff sometimes, y'all. Yeah, just saying. And we are just gouging away, and I'm okay with having extraneous. That is so not a correct pronunciation of the word I'm trying to say, if that's even the word I'm trying to say. Anyway, there's extra bits that will show up in the stamping that it's just like whatever. And technically, if you mess some of them up, you can fill that in with paint, or a handy little movement with fancy little ink work or something, cover it up with a label. I mean, there's ways around little bubbles. So we got it stamped, or we're stamping it, we're practice stamping it, and I'm like, that's not too bad. Yes, it's like a real stamp you buy from the store, because now it's a real stamp. Anyway, it's like a real stamp you buy from the store. You got to prime them up, you got to ink them, you got to mess with them, 2-3 times to get them, kind of going good. Just saying. So that's in your hand carved stamps come out that way too. So, and we're just trimming away some, and I'm like, I think there's supposed to be another little area carved away right here, but I didn't do it because I'm like, I'll just cover that up with a label or something. Word, I like to use words, made up words, real words, don't no matter. Want that line just a little bit skinnier. Gotta be careful though when you're cleaning up, because yeah. And I keep telling myself, take it easy, go slow. I know it looks like I'm going fast because it is like sped up, y'all. I said it. I'm going to say it again. It is like sped up. Okay? Anyway, you can so make a stamp with fun foam, in which case you're just cutting it with scissors. All right? Easy peasy, fresh and beautiful, and glue it down, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. Or Robert's your brother's, or he's your dad's brother, or something like that. Yeah, it's perfect, right? Oh, obviously, I wanted that line just a wee bit skinny. As you can see, it's got a wave to it. It's all right. Makes it unique. It's a unique stamper. Okay, here we go. Yeah, just keep doing it. I didn't overdid it. It might look like I'm overdid it, but I didn't. I'm like, yeah, that's, well, it's not perfect yet. It's almost perfect, y'all. So here's the funny thing. I'm telling you, I just was going with the size of pink stuffs I had, okay? The larger one is basically the size of a postcard. Okay, I mean, it's not exact. It's basically more or less, okay? This one, you know what size it is. Oh my gosh. I could not have planned this because I am so not mathy. Artist trading card. 2.5 by 3.5. Almost perfectly on the money with that one, y'all. I was like, oh wow. I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, we're going to make an artist trading card. That's what we're doing right now. I found some scrap papers over there. I don't know if they were digitals I printed out or someone sent this stuff to me in Happy Mail, but I liked it and I thought we're going to use that and we're going to collage that on this here piece of scrap cardstock because, I'm using scraps, desk scraps and all that because, they're there. Might as well use them. Oop, need a little glue right there. Put a little aleenes on it. Get that corner all nice and secured up. Okay, we're going to stamp on that. We're going to put our perfect golden ratio is getting stamped on that. And we're going to use that there StazOn ink in whatever that color is that's listed in the description below the video. Yeah, I don't remember. It's some kind of teal. I don't know. So I'm trying to get it all on there and trying not to get it in the big open spots because, you don't necessarily want it in the big open spots. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. And I'm like, see, that's the problem with not clear stamps. You can't really see where you're stamping. And I'm like, oh, I need to put pressure all the way across the whole thing so it comes nice and smooth. It's stuck pretty good. And I'm like, oh, look at that. It's stamped pretty good. Now, some of the black ink that was on there kind of shines through a little bit, but that's okay. Don't matter. It's perfectly fine. I'm like, yeah. Nobody got anything smack dab on their face, so we're going to heat gun it dry because, it stays on a minute to dry. Otherwise, it'd just get all smeary on there. And this little piece strip left over had two stamp images on there, and then postage stamp images. And I thought, well, let's just cut those off and use them because we can. Doesn't have to be trash. Some of them little pieces made it into the recycling bin, but that's all right. So we got out our ink pad and we're just going to put some ink around the outside of this and that. And I think we ink around the card. I don't know if I show you the whole thing. It looks like I'm going to show you all the inking possibilities. And I had just gotten a old dictionary page or book. It's a whole little book. It's not just a page. There goes my phone. Be quiet, phone. Anyway, from the Angelic Resale over here, they went up on their books, y'all. Whew. Anyway, I may not be getting too many more books from there. And it's from the early to mid 1970s, right? It was the kind of book I would have used should I have had a desire to look at words. I just speak them. I don't necessarily look them up. Well, I do look them up. Yeah, I don't know. I do research sometimes. Anyway, I found the word ratio. Ratio. The terminology golden ratio was not in that dictionary, but ratio was. So I cut that out. That's what we're inking on right now. And I thought, how fun is that to put that on this here artist trading card? This was an impromptu project. I was just going to show the carving, and I thought, no, let's use it. Because, I always like to see people use what they just made, Because it's a tool. We made a tool. A stamp is a tool. So we're going to glue that on. And I don't know. I just moved it here and moved it there. And I thought, well, that's perfect. And I know we're covering the stamped image up. That's okay. That's okay. Adds lovely background noise, doesn't it? And I was going to put it over there. Now I'm moving around. I'm like, yeah, it's going right there because I like that's perfect. Now, theoretically, the golden ratio, in a way, it's your page divided in thirds, okay? And if you put your focal image in one of the thirds, primarily where that circle is, the little circle there, in the upper mid left, is supposed to be the perfect location for a focal image, okay? Because your eyes just suck right over to it. Well, I don't necessarily work like that. I'm like, don't tell me what to do, golden ratio. I'm the one deciding where the focal's going. So anyway, we glued on those little bits. And then I found this epoxy butterfly. And I thought, well, we're going to put that on there. And I have some gold thread. So I'm kind of, bunched it up there a little bit. And I'm using a little bit of double-sided tape. It's got the release paper kind, the double-sided tape, to help hold that together while we stick it on our artist trading card. Because now this is artist trading card. It's an ATC even. 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. A rectangle. Orientation of your choice. So now we're going to put some glue. What kind of glue are we using? I don't know. I forgot. Oh, it might be Fabrifix. Is that what we're using? No, we're going glossy. Getting the glossy accents out. Gonna glue that epoxy sticker, because it's sticker, but you know, it wasn't sticking that great. So, and I would probably glue it anyway, because you know, adhesion problems, I guess I have. And gluing that on. Put some weight on it. Now I decided this was last minute because I already put my thread on there, and I'm like, well, you know, it's done. It could probably just be perfectly done just like that. And I thought, no, I want to put some gold on it. We got the word ratio. We carved a golden ratio. And there's a technical name for it, habachichi. I know that. No, don't tell me, because it don't no matter. Habanichi, don't no matter. Don't say it again. Stop. Anyway. So I got out these the speckly splattery stamp thing, and we're going to do some embossing. We're going to gold embossing, and we're just stamping around there. I'm not paying any attention to my word ratio. I wanted to kind of be obvious, but it is so not obvious. And we're sprinkling on the gold powder. Guy, tamping it, tumping it, thumping it, tapping it, wiping it off her face, because she ended up with a good little smear right there on her mouth and her face, and I didn't like it, so I just rubbed it off my little finger. You can use a brush if you want to. We're going to get the heat gun. I got the scissors out because I was going to hold the card with the scissors, and I thought, no, I can hold it with my hands because, you know, it won't be that close to the heat, right? Heat guns get hot. If they're hot enough to melt plastic powder, it's pretty hot. Oh, magic of heat gun on embossing powder. Let's go. Now that thread that I used I'm pretty sure is pretty plastic. Okay, it's a nice thread, but it's still plastic. So I don't want to melt it, so I'm trying to be careful. Y'all. Because if I had known I was going to emboss it, I wouldn't have put that on there yet. Then I thought, oh, we need to put the back on here, because I wanted to put some gold embossing powder around the edges. And I thought, oh, I need to put my back on there, because if I don't put it on before I put the embossing powder on, it's going to have like a little bumpy edge on there, and it's not going to want to stick down very well. So that's why we're doing this. I should already had it on there, because, you know, the front's now got that butterfly and the thread on there, so it's not exactly flat either. Not anymore. So that's the back. I always do a computer printed back because, you know, I like them. That's the form maker in me. I used to like to make forms and stuff, and it'd be a need for a form, and I'd just whip one out after about 2 months. No, not necessarily that long, but anyway. And we still have the embossing powder there on our paper because it's fine. And we're just tamping the edge in the ink. Embossing ink is clear. I know it looks black because that's the ink that comes off my stamps. Will, you know, turn my ink pad there black, but it doesn't show. Well, not all the time. Anyway, clean your stamps before you put it in your embossing ink if you want your embossing pad to stay clean. So I got it all around the edge. We're going to heat up. We're going to try to avoid the thread because we don't want to melt it, remember? Heat gun, y'all. We're doing that. My little editing screen, which I've not whined about in a minute. It's kind of hard to tell if you can see how well it's melting, but it's magical. So now I'm going to work with getting the threads out of the way so that I can hold them without burning myself with the heat gun, y'all. And melt that embossing powder. And it worked okay. Yeah, it worked okay. So here we go. Flippy flop. Oh, look at that gold splatters on there, y'all. Cute. We are golden. That's what it says. That's the title. I titled it, We Are Golden. See? Biggin. There's the biggin, y'all. There's the little one. And there's our project. Ta-da! Photo montage. Oh, it's fun. Have fun with your art. Your work can be fun. It doesn't have to be trauma. We are golden. I so much appreciate each and every one of you. I'm happy you're here. I know I said that already, but it's still true now. I'm happy you stuck around this far. I really appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and happy art.